Hi everyone, I'm Linda and welcome back to my channel, Gumnut Lane Jewellery. This tutorial is part of my beginners wire wrapping series that I started last week, where I break down essential skills step by step to help you build confidence with wire. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make an eye pin, a head pin, and then we'll move on to 4 different techniques for creating a shepherd's hook clasp using 18 gauge copper wire. These are core techniques that you'll use again and again in wire jewellery, whether you're making earrings, necklaces, bracelets. So if you're just starting out, this is a really important one to learn. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start this off with an eye pin. Now the beauty of making your own eye pin is the fact that you don't have to buy all different lengths of eye pins or different gauges. So you've got your wire there, you can just make your own, any length that you like, and any gauge wire that you need for whatever it is that you're making. So that's the beauty of it. It'll save you a lot of money in the long run. So I'm going to flush cut the end of my wire using the flush side. I'm also going to just cut off the length, so you decide how long you want your eye pin to be, and then just cut. Grab a pair of round nose pliers. I'm just going to come down roughly about 1 centimetre. Okay, I'm just going to bend that over so it looks like that. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat. You can make it perfectly flat, like a perfectly L shape if you want to, up to you. And then I'm going to come in right on the edge of my wire there, so you can't or just barely feel it, and turn. And that can give you an eye pin. You can straighten it up a little bit by coming in and pushing back on this wire here, closing that up again, straightening your wire out, and there you've got an eye pin. You can tidy it up if you want to by flush cutting in there a little bit. Oh, it didn't come right out. There we go. And closing that up. There we go. That's a perfect eye pin, and very easy to make. And as I said, you can make them in all gauges of wire in any length that you like. So now we'll make another one, which can also be used as a head pin. With a loop at the bottom, so you can hang and dangle off, and well, your bead's not going to drop down over the top of your normal eye pin, but this just gives it a little bit of a decorative finish to it. So I'm just going to cut a bit of wire off, and did I flush cut that? Yes, I already flush cut that. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to leave a little bit extra this time, so make sure that you've got enough length on this end of your wire for whatever it is that you want to do. So I'm going to leave a little bit extra, bend it over, bring it up and around, and this is like a wrapped loop, but we're only doing 1 loop on it, so you should have something that looks like that. Grab a pair of flat nose pliers or chain nose pliers, and another pair of pliers. I like to use my bent nose, and we're just going to wrap that around just once like that. Bring it over just a little bit more. There we go. And then cut our little tail off. and push it down. And that's all there is to it. Now if you pop a bead on that, I've got a bead around here somewhere. Let's see here. Hopefully this fits on 18 gauge, it should do. See, it's just a decorative little thing at the bottom, and you could hang a, you know, whatever dangle or whatever you wanted to on that. So that's another nice little option. And you can also use this in place of this particular one in place of a simple loop. I mean, simple loops are great, they're easy to do, but they're also easy to pull apart, where this just gives it that bit of extra strength without taking up the space of, you know, fully doing full wire wraps, like the 3 wire wraps. So that's that one. So next I'm going to do a head pin design for you. Oh, it's not actually design, it's a technique. Very simple one. Flush cut again. You know, there's heaps of head pin designs. I'm just showing you one simple one here because it is simple, and if you're desperate for a head pin and you don't have any, you can just quickly make one of these yourself. So I'm just going to cut off a bit of wire. I flush cut the end of that. I'm going to come in with my flat nose pliers, grab the end of that wire and just bend it back like that and close it up. Pull it out nice and straight, and that's a nice little head pin. You can file that if you want to with put a file here. You don't need to because it's under the bead, but just for if you wanted it to just look a little bit more polished, just filing one way, using your file only one way. Don't be going like this on it. I know it looks like I'm doing that under the camera, but I'm just going one way like that. You'll ruin your file, and it's not doing anything by you going backwards and forwards anyway, but other than ruining your file. So you can come in and just file it off, round it off a little bit like that if you want to. Where's my bead gone? Put that on. And see, your bead's not going anywhere. You can flatten that down a little bit more if you want. Oop. This one mightn't do it because it's 18 gauge. Yeah, so that's just a simple head pin for you if you're desperate and you need one, or even if you're not desperate. I make all my own head pins if I'm doing anything like that. I would, yeah, I don't buy any findings whatsoever. So what are we going to do next? Next we're going to move on to a clasp, or a couple of clasps. Grab my flush cutters here and flush cut that end. Okay, so I need round nose pliers. Again, I'm using 18 gauge. I'm going to come in and turn a loop. Now it depends. It's up to you, I should say, as to how big you make this loop. It's you know, you can come make a tiny one. You can move up and make a bigger one. Whatever you feel like you'd like to have. Again, make sure you can't or just barely feel the end of that wire. Turn a loop. Check your loop out. Make sure it's a nice round one, which this is not. It's more of a pea shape. So I'm going to come in and just trim a little bit of that off. Doing all of this, guys, is going to save you so much money, and you're actually hand making everything that you put into your piece of jewellery. Okay, now I'm going to come in. Okay, you can do this two ways. You can use your 6-step pliers, or you can use your round nose pliers. I'll show you with the round nose pliers because I know most people start off when they're beginners with round nose pliers. So you just come straight up to right to the end of your around those pliers, making sure you're not in the box part there where this opening is there. Don't go in there. Make sure you're right on the edge of it, like that, and just turn a loop, and this will give you a nice nice little clasp. So if you didn't want it to be a, you know, a standout feature or whatever, you can just do a nice little one like this. Now there's lots of ways you can finish this off. You can cut it. How am I going to, okay, I'm just going to do the one. I don't want to get too involved in it, so I'm just going to cut it. I could have left that a little bit longer and turned another little loop here on the end. Is that one that I've got there that I was going to show you? No. So you could turn a little, turn the end of this one up. Okay, we'll do that. I should have left it a little bit longer, but we'll do it anyway. My brain works faster than I can, faster than I can talk and faster than I can get things out. Where's my other pliers here? Close that up. So I know that doesn't really look like a clasp, but it actually could be, only because I didn't make this long enough here. All right, we'll scrap that one. Scrap that one. I'll do another one. Oh, gosh. All right. Flush cut. Turn a loop. Making sure we've got a nice round shape here. Bringing it up to the end of our pliers, turning over. Leave a little bit longer this time. And we'll do what we did for the head pin. So I'm just going to grab hold of the end of my wire, turn it up. And pinch it in. Straighten it up. Okay, and that's a little idea for a clasp there. Then you would grab your hammer. Now you could just use your rubber hammer if you wanted to. One of these, if you just wanted to work harden it and flatten it, or you can use a metal hammer, which will do the same thing, but it does flatten it. It changes the shape of the wire. Give that a little hammer on the end. Give that a little hammer up there. And even there if you wanted to. Okay, so that's a little clasp idea. Obviously you would hook on here, and this part would hook through your other side of your closure, your jump ring or whatever. That's moved out a little bit because I hammered it. Close that back up. Okay, that's one. Put those to the side. I'm going to have a sip of my tea. Before it gets cold. And another idea is we're going to do this one here, which is super easy. You're just going to turn your loop again. Make sure it's a nice round shape. You want them to look professional, especially if you're selling your jewellery. close that loop up. Now I'm going to come in this time. Oh no, I'll still use my round nose pliers because, as I said, I know most of you would have round nose pliers. Not necessarily the 6-step, but I do recommend that you get a pair of 6-step pliers, which are these ones, in case you didn't know. They've got 6 steps on them. And then I'm going to my pliers, and I'm going to cut. You can cut this as long or as short as you want. Well, not as short as you want. Don't go too short, obviously. I'm going to cut about there. Flush cut it. And grab my flat nose pliers. I'm going to turn the end of that out like that. So it kind of looks a bit like an ear wire at the moment. Okay, I'm going to use my metal hammer again. I'm going to flatten the end of that. Give it a nice paddle shape. Like that. Mine's a bit long. I'm going to cut that off a little bit. There we go. Up here again, this is for strength. But you don't have to, you can use your metal, use your rubber hammer on that one if you like. And there for strength as well. So that's another clasp done. Next one up we will do, it's out of the way. Something a little bit different again. We're going to start off the same way though. As most clasp, you need obviously a loop at the end. So turning our loop, coming in and making it a nice round shape by just trimming off that end bit. Closing it up. Now this time we're going to use our flat nose pliers, and we're going to get my wire at the right angle for me. We're going to come up a little way like that. I have to turn this over. Can't do it that way. So we're going to come up a little way like this. It doesn't have to be very far, it's just a few millimeters. And we're going to bend our wire flat against our pliers like that. And then come across a little bit. Just decide how big you want it. And then bend flat against our pliers on that side. So you've got that shape, it's like a square, and you can adjust it if you need to. Push it in. There's always going to be some adjustments, so don't worry if you don't get it exactly right, you can always fix it. And then I'm going to cut about there. Turn my end. Try and get that squared up a little bit more. Oops, come here. There we go. Push it in a bit closer. Pop it on the block. Give it a hammer up here. You can remember, you can always use your rubber hammer for all of these. You don't have to use the metal one like I am. And then give this a good hammer down there if you want the hammered look. and then just close it up a little bit more because it would have moved. And that's a nice squared off clasp. Okay, on to the next clasp. We're making this one here. So we're going to flush cut. Grabbing our round nose pliers. I'm going to turn a very small end on this very small loop. Coming in and flush cutting, just to make sure we get that nice round finish. And I want to close it. There we go. Okay, now this time I'm going to use my 6-step pliers, and I'm going to use this mandrel here. So the third mandrel. Yeah. I was just thinking if I wanted to go bigger then, but no I don't. Okay, so we've got that. Looks like a shepherd's hook. We're going to come down, I don't know, about that far. Should be plenty. I'll just give that a quick measure for you so you know how far I've come down. That is roughly, say, 3.5 centimeters, which would be 1 and, what is that, 1 3/8 of an inch. Okay, back to our round nose pliers, and I've got the hook facing me, and I'm coming down right on top of it. I'm going to bend it back, come up and over. So this is a wrap loop we're doing here. Get it so it's looking nice. Grab hold of it with the pair of pliers, and using another pair of pliers. You can use your fingers if you like, but I tend to use my pliers. And we're going to wrap. And I'm just coming around that twice, turning it over, flush cutting that, pushing it down so it's out of the way and not going to scratch. And then if it's a little bit misshaped, mine is, you can always straighten it up. There we go. It's not exactly like that one, but anyway, it's, this one was done off camera, which is so much easier to do than this one here. So to get it down closer to that, I think I actually opened this up like this so that I could get my round nose pliers down a bit closer. Yes, I actually did do that, so I could get my round nose pliers down. But either way, it really doesn't matter. You can you have it longer like that, or you can have it shorter like that. Totally up to you. It's just a design choice that you make in there. And then once again, you would hammer. I didn't hammer this one with the metal hammer. I did it with the rubber hammer, so we'll do it with the rubber hammer this time, just for something different. So we're just going to give that some strength all the way around. Do both sides, and just watch your fingers when you're hammering. Okay, that's nice and firm now, so that's another clasp idea for you there. And one last one for this time, and Might as well get all the easy clasps out of the way first. I'm going to come in, I've flush cut that. I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers and I'm going to do a very little loop, the smallest I can make it. But once again, still making it look nice. And then I'm going to come in with the very tip of my round nose pliers here. As close to the tip as I can get, and bend that back up like that. If you saw my tutorial for last week for the ear wires, we did that maneuver or that technique, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to come in with my 6-step pliers, and this is where you just choose how big you want this loop to be. I'm going to go for this size here again. So I'm going to come up behind it like that, bend my wire over, and then I'm going to bash my light. Just choose how long I want my tail to be. That looks about right to me. And turn the end of it. Like that. And this here is where you would hook a jump ring or whatever you're going to hook into it, into this part here, not that part there, this part here. And then again, just give it a hammer. I'm going to hammer up the top with the rubber hammer all the way around on that loop there, and then I'm going to come in with my metal hammer and do the tail. Like that. And that's our other hook. That's the first one I did. That's like my, you know, I'm just showing you. Anyway, oh gosh. Oh God. I start thinking about things and I get off track with what I wanted to say, what I wanted to do. So there are little clasps for this week. As you can see, you've got a few different ideas there on what you can do with making your clasp for your jewellery. You know, on the back of your necklace, on your bracelet, just, you know, and along with our head pin and our eye pin and our wrapped eye pin. So I think you've got enough there to play with for a week, and when we come back next week, I don't know what I'll have lined up for you, but I'll think of something to show you that can help you with your making your handmade jewelry. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and I hope that it's given you a bit more confidence working with wire. If you're following along with my beginner wire wrapping series, make sure to check out the playlist so you don't miss any of the fundamental techniques. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps to support my channel. And don't forget to subscribe if you'd like more wire jewelry tutorials every week. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next tutorial. Please take care, stay safe, and go out there and make something beautiful, and make sure you're having fun while you're doing it.